So my project has to do with the animal jellyfish, and so the taxonomy for the jellyfish is for the domain it falls under Eukarya, and for the kingdom it falls under Animalia. For the phylum it falls under Cynodontia, and for the class it falls under Schizophone, and for the order it falls under Cymistome, and for the family it falls under Cyanidae. And for genus it falls under Aurelia, and for species it falls under Aurelia aurita. And for the kingdom tree, since it falls under Animalia, it has the characteristics of having a cell membrane, having a nucleus, being multicellular, and being a mouth eater. And for my phylum tree, the oldest ancestor being Monera, which contains unicellular organisms and that have prokaryotic organization, which means that it's like bacteria. And so the next one is Protist, which has the characteristics of having organelles, but not quite yet multicellular. And the same goes for algae, except it's multicellular but heterotrophic. And for coral, it is next after being heterotrophic, and it does not quite have radial symmetry. And for the subphyla, I forgot to mention for it the phylum tree, it is Medusozoa. And for septa, Anthozoa then leads to septa, which is an organism that releases sperm and eggs that form a planula on a hard structure or substrate and do not have a medusa stage. And so a septa is a wall. Next is medusa, and they mean by polyp reduced. It means that it is sessile, elongated, and hollow. If they are box-like, it is cubosa. If it's done by strobulation, which is transverse fusion, they do it asexual reproduction transversely, as said in the name. It is schizophone, and comb jellies are the modern ancestors of jellies, but do not have tentacles. Jellies have tentacles, and yeah. And for the interesting adaptations for reproductive, it reproduces sexually by the female and male releasing eggs and sperm into water and forms a planula, which is the adult medusa stage. And so next it forms onto planula. It hooks onto the bottom of a rock or like some stable structure, allowing it to grow into a polyp, which is, in this case, the larval stage. And so this essentially takes months and years to form, and so which then they clone themselves and strobulate, and then produces ephera, which is ephera stage. And so for the digestive adaptation, it has tentacles that carry nematocytes, which are stinging cells, and to deter predators and stem prey. It hunts using different methods such as filter feeding, tentacles, or actively hunting. It has a single cavity that acts as a stomach, or that acts as a single stomach and intestine. And it has a single orifice that serves as a mouth and anus, so things go in and out in the same direction. And so with radial symmetry, it allows jellyfish to find food and sense things around them. And so jellyfish can also shrink in size when food is scarce. And yeah, that's it for digestive adaptations. For homeostasis, jellyfish adapts their body color to camouflage in the darkness, so it is colorless and difficult to see. And so some deep sea jellyfish are red, and under deep sea, red light cannot be seen under 200 meters, so they are basically invisible. That's how some animals maintain homeostasis. It can also move up and down to create movement and scare predators away. It has a sensory system to detect things all around them, and it has a defense tactic of creating light, which is bioluminescence. It has proteins that undergo chemical reactions to form blue or green light, and in response to like tactical stimuli like touch, and also its stinging tentacles keep it warm in the cold depths of the ocean. And for the global distribution, it's found in all parts of the oceans, primarily Pacific, Southern Atlantic, Indian, Arctic. And so to the right is a population map of the jellyfish, and as you can see, red is where it's mostly located, and it's basically located among the shores and coasts of the ocean. It's not very like towards the center of the ocean, and that's where like they like to hang out. And for habitats and niches, it is found in all parts of the ocean, from deep seas to shallow waters. Jellyfishes they don't have a preference as to warm or cold. They can choose wherever they want to. And it also allows currents to carry them or use the water currents, or they can use their muscles to carry them. And so they have a relationship with algae, which feeds on sunlight. And so what feeds on algae is by phytoplankton, small fish, fish eggs, copepods. And so what feeds on that? And so it's being predated by large fishes such as shark or sea turtles, tuna, salmon. Yeah. And for the food web, jellyfish is being eaten by the small fish. The small fish is eats the algae. Jellyfish feeds on the small fish. Jellyfish feeds on plankton. Plankton feeds on crustaceans. Crustaceans feed on algae. And jellyfish is being predated by sea turtles, large fish, killer whales, great white shark, and plankton feeds on sea cucumber for energy, and the large fish is being eaten by killer whale. Sea turtle feeds on many things as seen here, and they have many sources. Jellyfish, mostly those two. For the fossil record, this is the fossil record of the latest. It's very rare to find them since they have very soft structures, and so since it's rare, it doesn't have like hard structures, so it's very hard to find them. And so these are the three main ones I could basically find on the internet. And so most of these are from the Cambrian period. This is from the Middle Cambrian period. These two are from the Cambrian period. This is from Utah. This is from Wisconsin, and apparently to some credible source, it says that this is the oldest fossil record found. And so there's this many. And for the fossils' oldest ancestors lived in Utah approximately 500,000 to 700 million years ago. I already said that it was really rare since there's no hard structures, and because of how complex it is assumed it developed in the Cambrian period, which means that based on the structures as seen here, this was found in the Jurassic period, which is about 200 to 150 million years ago in Germany. And so usually scientists look for hard, soft fossils where organisms are buried in sediment, which inhibits decay. And this is my project.